Okay, welcome to the new world. Here's what's going on at 427, CSN 427. Everybody has to sanitize nowadays. And we've been doing it for a while. So safety is number one for us. We've been very fortunate not to have COVID. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm going to remove my mask because there's nobody around me. And we're going to go, I was talking about before about some of the stuff that's going on. So I just want to thank Porsche Club, Upper Canada region, and for all the people that put this together. We had some technical problems this morning, but hopefully we sort them out. Hopefully this will be entertaining, and you guys can ask some questions afterward, and hopefully we were able to answer them. So, as mentioned before, we have the 930 Porsche behind us. So hopefully you guys can hear me. And it's 1987 Porsche 930 Turbo, and you'll see it in the video there. So this car's been hitting the front end, as mentioned before. And does anybody have any questions? Or I don't understand. What are you asking me?
You guys want to start with some questions, or you want a little bit more information on the measuring, or is there anything we can give you more information on?
Lorenzo, do you know what happened to the Porsche that's on the hoist behind you?
What happened to the Porsche that was on the hoist behind you?
Oh, it was in the front end. So, well, I'll go through it a bit. If Jessica's right next to the phone here, so if there's any questions, please forward to Jessica, because I can't hear the phone from this distance. But right now, on this vehicle, we have a Cartronic. Now, this Cartronic measures the complete undercarriage, and it does have some upper measurement also. So, due to the fact that the vehicle was hitting the front end, we have to measure the car, plane it out, and see where, if it's sagging or not, or whatever. And so we pinpoint it. So all the data, we have all the data and from the factory, and it's a very precise machine. So it actually measures before and after.
I think we lost the audio there, guys.
So within a few millimeters of tolerance of going into spec. Anyway, so also on this particular vehicle, we have to change the front panels. I don't know, like I mentioned it before, if I have to move it, so the front panel is in over there. So we're gonna pull the rail, and once we pull it and put everything into spec, that's when we start removing the damaged parts and replacing them. Now, as mentioned before, all the procedures come from the Porsche PNN, and most of these procedures are only available to Porsche certified facilities. As mentioned before, the Porsche certified facilities, the number one thing they do is they do the training, then they get the tooling, and then they get in-class training. Right now, unfortunately, 2020, most of the training is done virtually. And we have a third-party audit once a year. This year it was done virtually, like what we're doing right now. So there's a couple of things behind me that some of this tooling. One of them is jigs. Now, if there's jigs available for the vehicle, we can put the vehicle on jigs. Now, not all jigs are available. If they're not available, there are also jigs that are adaptable. So these adaptable jigs, we can adjust them to give us a measurement, and we adapt them to the vehicle, and they're plugged into certain holes on the frame. Interestingly enough, that this particular car is worth a few dollars. Let's say it's $150,000, $200,000 vehicle. And the vehicle, I mentioned before, we have to kind of register to get some of these parts. Some of these parts are coming back, they're coming back right directly from Germany. Example, the fenders are flared out slightly, big difference from the regular 911. And so just a slight flaring out, I would say the fenders are maybe 3 to 4 times more expensive and not available. Like even if we search even for used ones, very difficult. We were unable to locate them. So we're actually buying new ones for this. All the parts are available, by the way. And that's the beauty of the Porsche. They've taken a real big interest, as all of you know, in the classic car restoration part of it. Does anybody have any questions right now?
Just a quick comment that the closer you are to the camera, the better the audio is going to be.
Is everything good? You guys can hear? Or
The closer you are
louder?
to the camera, the better the audio is going to be.
Okay, here, Dad, a little close up.
Yeah.
Gonna have to smile a little bit here. We're a little, a lot of pressure here on the Zoom call. We feel very nervous over here at 427.
If you want, follow me with this.
Here we go. Here we
No
go. We're new
problem.
to the Zoom thing. We're better in person.
You're doing a great job.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
The front end here being damaged. Now you see it's all crumpled up. We dismantled the vehicle. So right now you see that electronic measurement is on our bolt. So it's very difficult to see all the stuff here, but the measurements are here. The measurements are here, and we're going to have to pull this whole section into place, and then we're going to remove the front panel and replace the front panel to factory specification. So the welding will all be done. So you can see here, we're going to have to replace the shock, some wiring, etc. It's been the vehicle's swayed over, but we're going to repair this vehicle right to manufacturer specification. Why? Well, it's the right thing to do, but also to maintain the valuation of the vehicle. And that's one of the most important things, is that when it's restored correctly, as many of you guys know, you're checking. Now, interestingly enough, this car is original paint. And what happens is that we're not gonna paint the whole car. We're just gonna paint what is absolutely necessary to paint. So we're gonna leave the doors and the quarter panels and the rear end with the tailgate. All that's gonna stay all original. And of course, what we're gonna do is do a little bit of polishing, cleaning it up, restore the luster where it should be, and then we'll paint the front end with the original paint.
Can you just show a close-up of exactly that mounting point, like where you measure from?
So where do you mount it from, Dad?
Yeah.
Where do I measure from?
Mount it.
Oh, mounted. Okay. In this particular case, it's mounted in these.
Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, what was the question there?
How are you measuring? So you're looking for distortion on the frame from the collision, right?
You're looking for distortion of the frame from the collision?
Yes. Yes.
You're going to
So
measure.
what's happening is this here.
So how exactly are you measuring it?
Yeah, this here, most likely that this frame here, this whole setup here has to be down here. So right now it's showing it there, and then we're gonna set up a hard jig to show where it should be pulled to. So it'll be there. And then what we do with this is all electronic.
Yeah.
So this just reconfirms that we have the right specification in the right spot. So it's kind of like a digital movement, and it moves around wherever the points, the factory points are. So we're gonna pull it, and then we'll reassure it. Now the beauty of this thing is that once this is all done, we take a before and after measurement. So you get all the data, it's all printed out, and it shows that, hey, listen, this is green, it's all good. This is a good thing to do.
That point you're measuring from, that's like a mounting.
What point are you, where are you measuring from on there, Dad? Is that a metal?
That like a mounting.
Right now, we're measuring where the stabilizer bar is, a part of the control arm, but this is actually a part of the frame mechanism here.
You're gonna,
this is the
Dad,
part-
when
yes.
you speak, look at the camera so they can
Okay.
hear you.
Okay, so right now, we have this measurement here because we know we can visually see where it's damaged. So we know that, so this here, what we do is make sure that the plane this is all planed out. So what happens is that the measurements are exact. So this here, this here is supposed to be here. So what happens is, once we know where it's supposed to be, we like mentioned before, we put a jig that's adaptable and then bring down the frame and down to that spec, and then we remeasure it. That's what we're doing.
Right?
So Jessica, I can't hear. I'm sorry about that, but I can't hear the questions. I actually I was born with a hearing problem, so.
Look, we're new to Zoom like everybody I think this year, but is there any other questions about this? I know
This is
pretty
really
technical.
good. This is really good. So
Yeah.
when you put it on the frame puller, you're going to twist it back down again. Is that the way that works?
He's saying when you put it on the frame puller, you're going to twist it back down again.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, like exactly what's this system doing?
Yeah.
Like that's exactly what's happening.
So we Monocon. This is a Monocon setup. So yeah. So it's all interestingly enough. When we're pulling it, everything is coming back with the specs.
You know, for those.
Monocle.
I mean, so much.
I have a problem saying that word, but Monocon. So yeah. No.
You got to make sure. Yeah, you got to make sure you do it. You got to make sure you do it right here. And
So
all of the measurements are on this electronic system here.
yeah. So the question is that you do jig the car, so
Yeah.
you have to point. You have to put this vehicle. It has to be jigged, completely stabilized on 4 points, and I'll share why. Once we start pulling here, all the rest of the vehicle has to be maintained, and the integrity of the frame has to not be moving at all. If let's say I didn't jig this thing and I start pulling it, I'm gonna probably twist the back end of it. So that's a no-no.
Yeah.
That's sort of like an automatic for us. Like we know that's what we need to do. But interestingly enough, this will all be dismantled. We're only doing preliminary measurements here. Afterward, we'll take all these stabilizer bars and the suspension down and whatever. There will be no restriction on the frame or no pressure on the frame.
Right.
So we'll straighten it out, make sure it's good, and then change the front panel, and then afterward, put everything back together. Any other questions before?
Roughly, how many measurement points are on that car? Roughly.
How many measuring points are on this car roughly?
Oh, right. Well, that's a good question. So on this particular car, on this 930, we would have 10 points of measurement. So if you could see that, there's 10 points on the lower level, and altogether there would be approximately 20 measuring points. And then it showed you exactly. Actually, here's the exact spot. It tells you exactly where to put the measurement points into, in what spot. So it's actually very, very accurate where it goes. Like right now, that's where it is right now. But this thing here moves around, and it's like, right now, my technician's not here, but he does it with it's a Bluetooth with his phone. So while he's moving it, he just sees it on his phone where the measurements are. And these are the points of that they need to put the pointer at.
And then the machine that to how it used to be, is that also in-house for you?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
We lost some of that audio, Roger. Can you repeat the question?
The machine that retwists the frame back to how it should be, is that a machine that's in-house for you?
The machine that retwists the frame, this is a machine in-house.
Can you move your mask?
Yeah. Sorry, can you repeat that one?
The machine then that you use to retwist the frame, is it in-house for you, or do you send that out?
How do you pull the frame?
Oh, how do you pull the frame?
Yes,
Basically,
it is.
is the twisting machine, a machine that you have?
You're gonna have to follow me for 1 second.
We're gonna show you guys here.
Okay, great.
So this is actually.
Yes, the answer is yes.
Vehicle goes on right here. This is a select frame machine, and those boxes over there, these boxes right here, have the jigs in them, and so the technician, like I said earlier, they have to find, they get the specs over here. So there's some diagrams here where they mount it to. Then I'm gonna have to move way over here because Jessica's gonna have to follow me here.
Jessica, this is great. Thank you.
Part-time work I'm doing here.
I didn't expect anybody was gonna ask that question, but it's a great question. So this is the actual puller. Believe it or not, this is what you use.
It is all in-house. So Dad, what does this machine do exactly?
This actually, well, when you have it all set up, this actually, you mount it to a certain mounting point where it's specified, and it actually, with the chains, believe it or not, you pull it to where it has to be. And these are the kind of things that I'm talking about that right here that stabilizes the vehicle. So, like if I'm pulling the right front end, the left front end, the vehicle is completely stable in the whole back of the car, and including the left side or the right side. And then we're pulling it and bringing it back to spec. And then once it's into spec, we obviously take this off and remove the stuff. But we keep this on. We keep it at the mounting point till the car is completely finished.
And where does the pressure come from? Is it like a hand?
Yeah. So going back to going back to this, we measure, we pull and we measure, we pull and we measure. But most of the time we measure, but we set up the jigs. And these jigs, once they're set up, we're pulling it to the jigs, the way the car is actually manufactured. So we're pulling it to the jigs. So we don't continually have to measure. We have to measure when we're finished doing it, and then we say, "Oh, okay," and then we measure it because this measuring system is within 1 millimeter tolerant. Jigs could be off by 4 or 5 millimeters. Anyway, that's what we do here. So,
Jessica, that's great. Thank you. I think you've answered the question. Thank you very much. That's great.
Okay, you answered the question about this one, Dad.
The other thing is too, I had this vehicle here in the video, in the other video, and now we've completed and put the front end. Now it's going in for detail. So this is interesting. I'm going to talk a little bit about paint here. So what happened with this vehicle? We go through, we color match. And then now color matching is interesting now. Some of it is done, a lot of it actually is done electronically. So we have special cameras that we go to the vehicle and we clean that vehicle, put the thing on when we have when the color code from the factory might be off slightly. So then we use the camera, and then what we do is we do test plates, and we create test plates because you don't know exactly how much paint is on the vehicle from the factory. So what we do is we put the primer and then the base coat, and we do a multiple tests, sometimes up to 20 tests. Some of these crazy colors, we spend like hours and hours and hours color matching and color taping. One thing, why do we do that? So this bumper is attached to the fender and the hood. So if the color doesn't match, what happens? You look at the thing and you go, look at it, it doesn't match. This is terrible, right? Now, if we all look at some of the cars, not because of the aluminum, metal, plastic, we look at the vehicle and say, hey, and you notice some of the bumper covers, brand new cars, the color is slightly off because the bumpers are painted separately from the vehicle. So if you go to the Porsche plant, you'll see the car being painted, and then the bumpers are painted completely separately because most of them are plastic and they have flex agents in it. So it's a different process. They're not painted with the vehicle. So going back to the reason why I mentioned this is a brand new bumper cover. Now, bumper cover. What is going on with technology? AI, autonomous driving, sensors, this, that. There's so much confusion that technicians need to continually train. And the reason why I'm sharing this is that you look at some of these brand new vehicles, all the sensors are in the back of the bumper. Now, it's you've got a little scratch on the bumper. Okay, let's just sand it down and paint it. Great. That's the traditional way of doing it. That's the way that we did it last week, the week before, a month ago. Now, because all these sensors are behind the vehicle, or behind the bumper, the thickness of the paint will alter the responsiveness of the sensor. So that you might be backing up and you think, oh, this is okay, and beep, 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 boom, you hit the car. Why? The bumper's been repainted and there's too much paint on it. Now, does this happen? Yeah. So when we have a car come in here, we have to pull the instructions on it and say, hey, is this particular car, are we allowed to paint the bumper cover? That's how it's getting nowadays. And there's a few Porsches now that all the sensors are hitting and we can't repaint the bumper. And it is actually, and you know what? It adds to the cost of the repairs, but that's what we're dealing with. But if you don't know any better, ignorant, you're not sure, and then the sensors are not working properly. So I had this car in the video, so, lining up, and we have the most important thing in this particular car, I mentioned it before, it has 6 sensors, the camera, and it has the radar. Any questions? Jessica's.
Any questions about this section in particular? Anything we can elaborate on?
What is the most challenging change or technological development that Porsche has come out with that challenges you for repairs?
What is the most technological change? What is the technological change that has challenged us the most?
Okay. Well, recently, I have we have a quality control tech here, and his name is John. So some of their questions, okay, recently we just fixed a Taycan. And of course, we had to print all the procedures out, etc. We had to replace the side. And we had to disengage the batteries, etc. But the procedures sometimes can get very long. So why am I saying that? It's because the question is, what is the challenges? The challenges is this, that the cars are evolving very quickly. And what's happening is, as they evolve very quickly, it's like a cell phone. Like I mentioned before, you got you go from 2007, the iPhone came out. From the 2007 and what we have today, what a complete, everybody could take beautiful pictures. Everybody, it's a walking TV. It's a walking everything. You can do everything on it. So as the phone changes, the car is changing at the same pace. Meaning, for a repairer, that every time we get a vehicle in, we have to pull the instructions out. And somebody said, well, you know what, just keep the old instructions. Nah, we can't keep the old instructions, because I go, this week the instructions are like this, and then in 2-3 weeks, as they're testing and doing different things with the vehicle, different repairs and different challenges, they change the procedures. And so that is one of the most difficult things. The difficulty is that, like this particular car, a hybrid, and we didn't have hybrids. Porsche didn't have any of these vehicles. So what happens is we need to buy special equipment. Jessica's going to move the camera. I'm going to go over here.
It's just it's constantly changing, at a rapid pace, and you have to buy all new equipment.
Yeah, this, for example,
a lot more quickly.
We would use this on a Taycan, and this would hold the powertrain. So you need this special lift. It's all hydraulic to lower the powertrain. So we never had this equipment before. This never even existed. So So that's what changes. That's why I say the first thing is the training and then the tooling. It's very expensive to keep up with the tooling. I don't know if that answers the question.
You want to talk about that for a minute?
Hey, Jessica,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the new stuff. And we have a question on the chat that says, what's the oldest Porsche you've worked on?
Dad, we have a question on the chat. Feel like I'm on a game show or something. But Dad, we have a question. What is the oldest Porsche we've worked on?
What is the what?
Oldest Porsche we've worked on? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the question.
What's the oldest Porsche? Wow.
Very, very old. No, I'm gonna let him answer.
You know what? Here, come this way.
Okay, we'll see what we have over
We
here.
have a couple older ones here. We have the 911. This is a 1988 convertible. We're fixing this one.
What's the oldest one in general, do you think?
You know what? Geez. I actually don't know what the oldest one would be. I think it was like a 1972, maybe 72. I'm just thinking. A 1972. I'm not sure what exact model it was. That's a very question. I have to go. Hey, I'm 60 years old. I'm having some memory loss. I can't remember everything. Yeah, I think it was a 72. It was a 72, and it wasn't a convertible. It was a hardtop, two-door coupe. Now I'm trying to remember what kind of car.
How long have you been doing repairs, Jessica?
How long have we been doing repairs?
How long have I been doing?
No, well, no,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so myself, I became a licensed technician. It's a 4-year apprentice. I became a technician in I was 22 years old, 1982.
How long have we been open for?
How long have I been working?
We've been open for.
Over 50 years. Yeah, my dad started actually at Lansdowne in Bloor in the late 60s, and then moved to Evans Avenue down the street. He opened up a shop in 1973, and it was a small shop, a couple thousand square feet. And then from there, I joined up with him full time in 1982. So we've been on Evans. So it's funny, my dad would try to figure out what to call it, because the original shop was called Colorama, because it was at Lansdowne and Bloor. And when he got over here, he kept hearing on the radio, 427, accident, 427. So the body shop was right next to the highway, like literally 100 meters away. And my dad said one day, I was like a kid, and he goes, you know what? I'm going to call this shop 427. I go, why? He goes, because it gets advertising every day. It's always on the radio, 427, 427.
That's great, Jessica. Thank you.
So with those classic cars, what do you do?
Eventually,
How do you handle
we
parts?
rented a building, and then we moved to this shop.
So we have three. On these classic cars, how do you?
How do you handle the parts? So there's a lot of researching going, and so one of the guys that helps me a lot with these parts is John. But John
He's
is
a
just
little camera shy. I think we all kind of are these days, but.
Other stuff that we source out from like places like LA Dismantler, we go, brought everything.
Come here.
It takes a lot longer. You got to source it from different places, and you really have to do your research.
A lot of the parts are available, but we do source, and one of the companies we use actually is in California, and I don't know if I can mention the name, but I know the name, but okay, it's called LA Dismantler, the Porsche specialist, and I think we use a local guy once in a while. Pardon? Whaletail. So I think you guys are all familiar with Whaletail. But availability of parts are good. There's a lot of parts available. If you can come a little closer, John, that way I can hear you.
How big is the shop?
Okay,
Dad?
this shop here is just under 100,000 square feet. So it's 98,000 square feet. Pre-COVID, we had almost 120 employees here, well, members of staff, and that's why we have multiple certifications. So certain areas of the shop, the guys are Porsche certified. Certain areas, they're Mercedes certified, BMW certified, Tesla certified. I'll share one thing about all these certification, that there's a common theme in equipment, because the certification for like one brand, for example, like Porsche, if you started from scratch and you said, oh, I'm going to get Porsche certified, you would spend over $400,000. I remember the first certification that we had, that was a major one, was Audi, when they first started started expanding into aluminum, and they really had no aluminum room. So I looked into it, and this was in 2003, and all the equipment at the time, just for Audi, was $275,000 US. It was almost $400,000 in 2003.
Just for the aluminum, right?
Yeah, just for the aluminum, for Audi aluminum. So then afterward, you know what, the frame machine might have, but there's different frame machines, but you got to kind of figure out what frame machine is more of a common theme. Well, Select happens to be one. Carolina is another one. So that's the thing about certification. It is expensive. So the thing is if you're a small shop, to utilize that equipment and to make it worthwhile to buy that equipment, you need to have some volume. And right now, aluminum is there, but like, I mean, we fixed quite a few Ford F-150s, and we fixed them right in the aluminum room. So Avenue, CSN Avenue is the same thing. We have the Carolina with the EB123, which is and the same thing like here with the Cartronic, but the EB123 is adaptable jibs. So and then you need a special welder, you need special vacuum cleaners, you need special tools, actually Porsche tools. What's the other question, Nicholas?
There's quite a few questions actually. I'm trying to answer some of the chat, but does 427 work on cars that have aluminum and carbon fiber components?
Aluminum and carbon fiber component. Okay, so this is kind of comical. I don't know how to say this, but so Audi, actually, a Porsche, Volkswagen Group, Jessica, if you want, you can turn it over here a little bit, but they own Lamborghini. So Lamborghini, this is an older one, but we have a newer one on the other side. So Lamborghini says, hey, Lorenzo, since you're Audi and Porsche certified for aluminum, why, you know, I think we should get Lamborghini. I go, okay, what's up? So they send me some additional equipment to buy, right? I go, okay, I see this stuff there. I see some equipment, but I never asked the price. I never said, hey, how much does this equipment cost? So because we were certified with the other brand, there's a common training, but I had to send the technician, one of the technicians, to get certain training, and he was gone for 2 weeks getting this training. But when he comes back, he says to me, Lorenzo, do you know how much this equipment costs? I go, what is it? It's a few things, like 8 pieces. It's not a big deal, right? We got everything here, right? And he goes, no, you know, what about this camera? You know about the camera? I go, how much can a camera be? What can a camera be? $1,000? $1,100? He goes, no, this is an ultrasound camera. I go, ultrasound? What's that? He goes, this camera looks at the carbon fiber. You put it on the carbon fiber, and it takes ultrasound pictures to see if the carbon fiber is cracked. I go, come on. You can buy a camera like that? He goes, yeah. So anyway, the camera was $45,000 US. So when we talk about what is carbon fiber, there's only 2 of these cameras that I know of in Canada. One here and one in Vancouver. So the thing is that carbon fiber, yes, it's coming more available. They're using it more, especially in very very high-end cars. There's like BMW, a lot of carbon fiber. Carbon fiber is coming a trend thing. So it's becoming utilized in the structure of the vehicle. So unfortunately, when you look at carbon fiber, it might look good, but it might not be good. So McLaren, for example, like those cars, carbon fiber, you need to put the camera on it and see if there's any damage inside. Unfortunately, most of the carbon fiber is in the center part for weight distribution and strength. When they get cracked, unfortunately for us, it's not that good because most of the time when they're cracked, the vehicle's a total loss because it's basically the big hub of the car. Going back to aluminum, aluminum welding, we need to get recertified every year for aluminum welding. So we have about 5-6 technicians that are certified with, well, no, actually we have more, maybe 10 that are certified with aluminum welding.
So you have to
And
be.
it's very difficult.
So do you have to
And
be?
by the way, some of the manufacturers, what they do is they send us test plates. They send us pieces of aluminum, and they tell us weld them, and then they bring them back to the plant, and they test them. And if you don't weld them properly, you fail, and then you got to go for the training again. Nicholas, any other question?
Yeah, how do you determine whether you're going to use new or used parts on a vehicle?
What?
How do you
Let's move a little bit
determine
this
if
way.
you're going to use new
Because
or
of the air conditioning came on or something
Oh.
over here.
That's a good question. How do you determine when to use new and used parts on a vehicle? Okay, rule of thumb. If the vehicle is under warranty, I would put new parts only. And that's my recommendation. Now, also you have to see what on availability. Now, so what happens is if the vehicle is older than, like I would say 10 years old, if the parts are available. Now, also, every job is different. Meaning that, what if I had to buy a bumper for an older 911, right? And I just buying a bumper, right? And I go, then I have to buy the bumper. Then I have to buy the absorbers. Then I have to buy the moldings around it, and like the guard and the bumper guard and the little license plate light and all the stuff. Well, it might be very difficult to source all those parts. So you might want to go, in that particular case, we would probably source out for a complete bumper assembly, right? And then nowadays, what they do is when we source it out, we're very, very particular here. So wherever we buy the parts from, they know that we have a certain standard for used parts. The standard has to meet our quality control guide. So if it doesn't meet it, we send it back, and they don't want to do that. So if we keep sending it back, so the parts that we get are high quality used parts. Actually, we call them LKQ, which means like, kind, quality. So every job is a little different. But let's say, for example, if I'm changing a quarter panel is welded on, bonded on, etc. We don't even want to use quarter panels, use quarter panels on a car that's 20 years old, because it's not the best thing to do for the vehicle. Now, unfortunately, sometimes you're told to do that, but we try to always look for a way to purchase a brand new one because it's welded, etc.
Maybe touch on people's insurance policies and their
Yeah.
insurance and how they impact.
Yeah, the other thing is too, I would recommend for the Porsche Club and whoever's watching, always check your insurance policy, because you have certain clauses in there that say, up to 10 years, you'll put brand new parts on it, brand new replacement parts. Some are different because you get lower premium, and it might be for cars up to 2 years old. And you know, one good thing about Porsche is that there's not a huge amount of used parts available. So and I would say 98% of the time, new parts are going on, like on a newer vehicle, under 5 years old. What, you had a question?
Is there anything?
Another question.
Yeah.
Where do you store cars that are awaiting repair if there's too much backlog?
Oh, wow.
Inside the shop? You store
Good question. That's a really good question. Because this shop is so big, we have an area to store it, and we call it the dead zone area, like where I was looking at the 911 here on the other side. We can store the cars inside. We prefer to store them inside because, and then we have another building in the back here that we store the vehicles inside again. And one thing about here is that this place is very heavily secured. So we probably have 75 cameras. We have radar outside. We have laser. If, like, unfortunately, sometimes a big, huge raccoon triggers off our alarm system. Yeah.
We fixed that.
All right. Yeah. So if we have to put the car, put it this way, in the wintertime, we're not putting the car outside because, you know, now we're talking about, you know, the gasoline. We have to make sure we fill up the tank and then add some additive. And then there's a process to putting it outside. We'd rather keep it inside. But if we do have to put it outside, we cover it. So we have covers on the vehicle. Even actually inside, we cover the vehicle. This red Porsche, we had to cover off. I just moved it for just to show the car was here. But we cover the vehicle, and we trickle charge the battery if necessary. For sure, we disconnect the battery, but there's a lot of things going on too. Like because we're Tesla certified, we have to make sure that going back, Porsche is going in this direction, Volkswagen Group is going in this direction. We have to maintain the charge of the vehicle, and if it goes under 15-20%, we're going to compromise the battery. Okay. Pardon?
There.
Customer gets updated, and we have to make sure.
Yeah.
Is there any other questions, guys?
Yeah.
Oh,
Nicholas has got
okay,
one.
we got them here.
Just if you guys could, if Lorenzo could repeat the question because we can't hear the other person's voice very well.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, okay.
All right. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Okay. Okay, you know what? Maybe we go to this Porsche.
You'll like this question. This is a good question. If one of us is to bang our cars at Mosport,
Yeah.
what would be the procedure to getting that car fixed? What is set to various parties who may be involved taking for the damage? So if you're at the track, you crash your car, and another guy crashes into you, how's that?
Yeah, you got to repeat the question because they can't.
So can you repeat the question?
Here, I can read the question. So I'll read the question out. So if one of us were to bang our cars at Mosport, what would be the procedure for getting the car fixed? What is said to various parties who may be involved in paying for the damage?
That's a great question. It's happened a few times already.
Okay, we're moving.
You guys know about most sports and stuff like that. But anyway, we're talking about. So a friend of mine has an accident, and actually it was on Mosport, and so a very good friend of mine. And unfortunately, something happened. And what happened was one of the cars started leaking oil on the track, and he hit the oil and slid off the track, and did quite a bit of damage on the vehicle. Like in the terms of, it was an expensive car, like $75,000, $80,000. So you guys know there's no insurance. So in this particular case, what happened was he had a lot of insurance with a particular company, and he was a big time policy holder spending hundreds of thousands of dollars with this particular insurance company. And he managed to get, somehow, I've never seen this before, he managed to get the insurance company to pay for part of the repair. But I've never seen that before. So that was a very anomaly case. What normally happens, there's no insurance. So from Mossport, right now, this is a family business. We're very, very honest. So if something happened at Mossport and the car's not drivable, I would recommend that, well, I'm just saying on my point of view is bring a vehicle here at this particular shop. So like, I wouldn't say to bring it to Avenue because Avenue is in the middle of the city. There's no parking, there's no room. And what we do at Avenue is when the repairs are bigger, we bring the vehicle here because they don't have the room to keep the car there, sitting there waiting for parts and waiting for things. So they do smaller repairs, which is okay. So what we do is we trailer the car here, fix it up, and then if the customer wants us to drive it to the facility, or if they want to pick it up from there, we'll bring back the vehicle there and get it done. So the best bet is to bring it here because we have the room, and we work with the owner of the vehicle. So I mean, when you're paying yourself, and you know, we explore all options. So you're paying yourself, and we're exploring options, especially if you're taking a car on a track, and we'll explore all the options that are most economical. But it takes a little bit of time. We've had a few that we fixed from the tracks. My brother deals with a lot of them. Frank, he's the production manager here. So unfortunately, I am not even sure if you can get insurance at the track. And if you could, it's probably very, very expensive, I'm assuming. I hope that answers the question.
Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got another question here. Is there seasonality to your business? When is the best time of year for 27 to bring a car in for work?
Is there seasonality to your business? What time is the best time to bring your car in for work?
Okay, I'll give you a big hint. Right now is a good time. This COVID hasn't been good to our industry. So, generally speaking, the automotive industry. So this is a really good time to bring it in. But you know, the weird thing is that before, we used to say always wintertime. You're busy here in the wintertime. So we've noticed a pattern for the last 10 years. There's really, the wintertime is actually a little slower than the spring and the summertime, because in the spring and the summer, for us, what's happening is more people are going, you know, to the beach. They're going to concerts. Well, they used to. They travel more in the summertime. So in the wintertime now, you know, our forecast system is really, really good. I mean, this year we haven't even had a winter in Toronto. But people tend to stay home when they know a storm is coming. So we really don't have any seasonal adjustments, because it might actually be a slightly slower in the, I would say December and February. Yeah, those couple of months they're slower. But right now, it's very, very slow. I mean, this particular shop, we went from 116 people in early March to in April to like roughly 60. And actually, CSN Avenue was, we kept the front office open, but we actually closed it because it was in downtown Toronto. Nobody was driving, nothing was going on. So we closed it for 2.5 months. But at the same time, when we closed it, we took advantage of cleaning the place up. And that's what we've been doing. Even though it's COVID is here, we've been doing a lot of maintenance, a lot of cleanup, a lot of training, and a lot of leadership training also. We've been taking advantage of it being slow. But right now, if anybody needs any work done, this is the time to bring it in right now, because we can do the job.
do we want to do some prizes, or do we have more questions?
There's a question about the Macan in behind you. If you can tell us about that one.
What,
Oh, okay, the Macan.
yeah. Oh, okay. Well, this particular car, what we did is we changed the tailgate. This is Macan GTS. Changed the tailgate. The reason why I put it here, I was saying to Jessica, bring the camera here, is just to show you like what's going on underneath here. We're changing the rear bumper too, and seeing all the paneling and all the stuff here. Now, this is a good example of, hey, let me get an estimate, you know, and or let me get a mobile estimate. And unfortunately, we were doing a lot of mobile estimates, but we actually were causing ourselves trouble doing a mobile estimate because we couldn't see the damage. So we could see the damage, the exterior damage, but we couldn't see the interior damage. So this Porsche Macan, for example, changing the tailgate and all that, so we put the light, the glass back in. Now there's no, the decals are gonna come on. So even the decal, when we ordered them from Porsche, we templated it, and it's got to be in the exact same spot. We do not throw any old panels out until we're completely finished the vehicle, unless the owner of the vehicle requests the pieces back. But they have to request. It's one of the questions we had. To want the old parts back. I mean, most people say no, but I don't know who want to have the tailgate in there. But if you have maybe a car garage that you can put it in there. But the reason why I said, here, have a look at this thing here, is that all of these pieces underneath, some of these are holding sensors, and they're pretty flimsy. You know what? But it's just not Porsche. This is a predominant with all manufacturers, and it's like that. So the bumper, when it gets hit, I'm sorry about that. It's lunchtime. Okay, so when the bumper gets hit, it goes in, but it could come out. Especially if it's warmer, it actually comes out. So you can't see this unless you see it on your dash and says, hey, there's a problem with the sensor. But it has to be damaged. It has to be damaged. It has to have a lot of damage to it. So, but if this it breaks in like that, the sensor might be dangling over here, but you don't know anybody. So we have to take the bumper out. So now, when I say to someone, oh, there's a scratch on the bumper, and I say, okay, this damage is $700. Then they bring the vehicle in, and we take the bumper off and say, oh no, I'm sorry. You need the sensor, you need the plastic retainers, etc. It's $3,000. They go, what do you mean it's $3,000? All right, well, you know, we couldn't see this damage. So we got to be very, very careful when we do mobile estimate. The other thing is the reason why I put it here. It's not even a big job, but look at the size of this work order. It doesn't stop. All the thing, align this, align that, and then we finished this. Right here, well, this is one of the most important thing here, and well, you can see I didn't even know that this was going to happen, but this is our quality control checklist within the shop. This shop practices ISO. So we're in practice ISO for over 20 years. So this is one of the procedures, and you can see the procedure was changed in January 25th, 2019, and it's updated and it's logged, and this is a continual, this keeps changing. And so they go through, every department has to check it, and then at the end, when we're done with the vehicle, there's a quality control person here that goes over it, and then the customer service rep does like the final check, make sure that, hey, you know what, because they're the one that spoke to the customer and went through it. The reason why I had this car here was just the mere fact that I saw this car when it came in, and it didn't look that bad in the back. But you know what? Then the next thing you know, the estimate is, you know, change the tailgate, change the bumper, or whatever, and it comes out to $8,000–9,000. Any other questions? I'm looking over here because Nicholas is.
Chris,
go ahead.
is there any other questions? You guys can always email us, call us. We're here if you think of something later.
Yeah, I think we hit all the questions.
Okay, so I know we have some trivia to do.
Oh, there was one more question, which is how often do Porsche technicians go for training?
How often? My brother's going to answer that one in the chat.
Okay, good.
So it's a team effort here. Okay. I know we have a few trivia questions. If you guys want to do that now.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
A nice little setup over here.
Some of the questions were about the video that we didn't watch today. And so we're going to post that video for people to watch afterwards, but maybe we can focus on the questions that were answered today.
The questions that were answered today. Sorry, what was that?
We did, for example, talk about the horsepower rating on the 1988 930 Turbo. And if you have the answer, text chat is the way you answer. So the question again is, what is the horsepower rating of the 1988 Porsche 930 Turbo?
No, you don't. You're not answering, Dad. My dad wants to answer that. He's like, well, what's the answer? I don't know. Oh, no, it's a trivia question. They're supposed to answer in the chat. No one answer here. Everyone's good here not to answer.
So according to our answers that were sent, and if that lines up with what he said today, we haven't seen an answer yet. We've gotten
It's a
close.
tough question. It's a tough question.
Yeah. There we go. Ken Schmidt, 282.
Okay, we got some prizes here. Woo! Which one do you? This one. It's tough to do over Zoom. So we'll send these guys out to you later.
Maybe, so you want to put a name on that?
Yeah.
Jessica,
10, right? 10?
Jessica,
Yeah, I don't know if we'll have 10 questions though. I think we'll maybe go with 5.
Okay. Yep.
And we can send you the winners later. Would you like to send them out to the winners, or would you like them to pick them up at the shop reception?
We can send them out.
Okay.
Yeah, you get all the information afterwards.
Next question. For how long has CSN 427 Auto Collision been in business? There we go. Hold on. Whoa, it's scrolling too fast. Harris. Can you provide your first and last name, Harris, in the text chat?
Who won?
Harris. Woo!
And Jessica, what kind of prizes do we have here?
We have a lot of wine gift packs here, and we have some gift cards. We have some goodie bags, some 427 merch.
Okay,
Wonderful.
we'll give you this one.
Okay, Harris gets this prize. Cheers, Harris.
Harris, can you post your first and last name in the text chat?
Yeah, they're all filled with gift cards and 427 kind of.
Wonderful.
merchandise.
Thanks so much for those.
It's not
No
Harris at all.
problem.
It's Brent. Hey, Brent.
Oh, Brent.
Fuller. Next question. What is the name of, or what is the location of this location's sister shop? There you go. Harry Zhang. Nope, sorry. Helmuth got it first. Helmuth Vorketor.
Hey, you have a name to put the names on it?
Yeah, don't worry. We're gonna get them. Grab another one. We got another winner.
Okay, what, yeah, okay. Oh, you got, what's in here? Oh, there's gift cards, there's stuff in here,
It's not empty. We swear.
it's all full of stuff.
Yeah, it's full of stuff.
And what kind of wine do you have in those wine packages?
Dad, Dad, don't open it. Don't open it. What kind of wine is that, Dad? In the gift packages.
What?
What kind of wine is that?
Is
Here,
it
we'll get nice
Italian?
and close.
Italian or local or?
Oh, it's a timeline.
It's okay, Stefan. You're not allowed to win.
Darn it.
Stefan's trying to eye the prizes over here.
I'm having a coffee.
I think a lot of the questions relate to the video, so I'm just going to make one up. How much was the value of the carbon fiber camera? Well, there we go. Whoa, 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 whoa.
That's a good question.
Eric Lito.
Eric, congratulations.
We'll assume that you meant 45,000.
Nicholas,
Give you that one. Not $1,000.
are you keeping track of this?
Roger, you got a question?
No, I don't have a trivia question, I'm afraid.
I can do a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So 427 Auto Collision partnered with a dealership on a classic restoration. What was the dealership name? And this was a year or two ago. It was in our social media. What was the dealership name, and which vehicle did they work on?
It's a good question. It's about the restoration. The Porsche restoration.
So we got an answer there. I believe it's Rob Payne got the answer.
Yeah, Porsche Center
It
Toronto.
was Porsche Center, downtown Toronto, and it was that, if you saw our social media, it was that gorgeous 993 911. They did a fantastic job on that vehicle.
They all have different items in them.
That was 5. Do you have any other questions, Stefan?
Oh, let's see over here.
Well, you could.
These ones are pretty.
You have to watch the video.
I think we can.
Yeah, you can ask this question here. So, okay, so I'm gonna ask this question here. Is it okay if I ask the question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Okay, so what car? There's a few questions here. Okay, what car was the Cartronic measuring? What vehicle was it?
Which vehicle was the Cartronic measuring?
Right.
The 930, right?
You said you answered it?
No, because
yeah, you got
John got it. Yeah.
You got it?
And John, can you provide your first and last name in the text chat?
Woo!
Okay. You have any?
John, can you type your first and last name into the text chat?
Okay, ask one of the questions, please.
Yeah. What?
How much weight can the hoist hold?
Well, is that a question?
We're making one up here. How much weight can the hoist hold? What's the answer, Nick?
Oh, you're asking me. I think it's 7,000 pounds. I think it's 7,000 pounds, but we have so many hoists here. Oh, it's right here. I'm pretty sure it's 7,000 pounds.
Dad, you gave away the answer, eh?
This isn't how trivia works.
A little bit. It's okay though.
Okay. Oh, okay. Is someone trying to answer it?
You can't read that, eh?
No, I know what it is.
What is it? No, we're good now.
Oh, we're good?
What is it?
It's 10,000 pounds.
Whoever
Hey,
said 10,000.
Eric got it. Eric won already, but
Another for Eric.
Steve Bates got it.
Which one?
Hey, everyone.
Congrats, Steve Bates.
Do we have one more prize, Jessica?
We have 3 more prizes.
Okay, I have a question. Jessica submitted a question. I'm just going to enhance it a little bit. So on the Porsche S models, there's a certain color of the brake calipers. What color is that? And on the hybrid models, what is that color?
You want to answer?
Yeah.
You have to guess both the colors.
Everyone over here wants to win. We're all answering.
I think it's red and green, right?
Yep, it's red, green.
Yeah, Mike Bryan got it.
You got to pull another one, Dad. Grab
That's
another
Mike.
one.
Okay.
Nice.
We have 2 more prizes.
Okay.
Does Lorenzo
here's
buy his coffee?
another question. How many turbos does the engine on the 2018 Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid Sport Turismo have?
This is a very tough one. Brought to you by our in-house Porsche expert.
Harry Zhang got it. 2.
Harry
It's twin.
Jane got it. Yep, it's a twin turbo. 2
Twin
turbo.
turbo. Woo! Okay, we have 1 more over here.
Chris, do you have a question?
Jackie has one. Jackie, do you want to unmute?
Sure. Okay. So last trivia question. How many square feet is the 427 building approximately?
Is one of those the right answer?
Who won next? Jeff Johnson?
Jeff Johnson, 100,000 square feet approximately. Perfect.
Thanks for having us, guys. If anyone has
Wonderful.
any other questions, just call, email us. We're here.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lorenzo. Thank you,
I want to
Jessica.
thank everybody, and I want to thank Jessica and Nicholas setting this all up. And anyway, so this is actually part of the shop here. So you guys know that I'm always trying to uplift people or whatever, but sometimes things don't go so good. So a couple of weeks ago, my wife's credit card gets compromised on the, so we get a call, and it actually was a fraudulent call on the credit card. So my wife is all worried about this credit card. This really happened a couple of weeks ago. So we had to cancel the credit card, but I went to the bank. I actually went to the bank and had a discussion with the lady. I go, what's going on? Like, how did this all happen? Anyway, there's 13, this and that. It was actually your call that you got. It was fraudulent. So they had to cancel the credit card and all that stuff there. So I know this person at the bank. So I'm walking out of the bank with the manager there. And I said, you know what? About a year ago, my wife's credit card actually got stolen. And she said, no, really? I go, yeah, it was bad. It was crazy. And he goes, but investigation, whatever, they found the guy. They found the guy that stole the credit card. It was crazy. It's unbelievable. Well, the police department calls me and says, hey, listen, we got this guy. He stole the credit card. What do you want to do? He goes, you want to press charges? I said, nah, don't press charges. I go, give the guy the credit card back. He's spending way less than my wife. Hopefully, that'll give you a smile for Saturday morning. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Canada region.